Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to NJPW Puroresu Review. I am your co-host, Andre Steve. Right over here is my co-host. It's the wonderful, the effervescent, the wonderful Melball. How you doing, Melball?
I am doing okay, Andre. I'm still struggling with this little throat allergy issue that I've been perpetually dealing with every springtime. It's kept me out of the gym a little bit because I don't
Mm,
want to weird people out with this nasty sounding cough I have. But gosh dang, at least it's getting better. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm tired, just stressed and all the other random stuff in everyday life. So, you know,
Stressy and depressy.
yeah, just trying to get through it, figure out my stuff. So,
That's what
yeah,
we do in this life, hey? If
yeah,
only
we
things
do.
were a little bit easier.
I wish.
Mm-hmm.
But we're here to talk some New Japan Pro Wrestling, and specifically the Windy City Riot show from last week on April 12th. And we're going to talk about it from Chicago, Illinois. So we got to watch this at a live normal time on the NJPW World this time around.
That was a shocking change of events, wasn't it? I mean, that's what happens when we get shows in the US, but it was
Yeah.
nice to actually be able to watch a show live with you and the sun still be up, not be rising when we're supposed to be. Ugh, man. Good times, though. Good time.
Oh yeah, very much so, very much so. So we're gonna get into it. We're gonna talk some Windy City Riot. I forgot. I pressed the wrong button. There we go. Made it work. The magic. Magic. I got the magic in me. So we're gonna kick it off. Pre-show Mel coughs her lungs out. We're gonna kick it off with the pre-show match. It's Matt Vandergriff. It's a the strong survivor concept still going. Matt Vandergriff is the strong survivor. We're gonna kick it off, and on the commentary desk, it's Veda Scott, Walker Stewart, and the one that surprised me more than anything, Chris Charlton.
Yes. It was the perfect commentary crew for this show because we got a little bit of everything that we needed from each and every person involved. And they flowed so well together. So well. Just everything was so good. We got information about all of the wrestlers. They knew all the moves. It just all around, this was just a perfectly put together show. I think that's
Yeah,
one of the first times that we can say that for the production for an NJPW show. Because usually something goes haywire somewhere. But this everything about this show went off without a hitch production wise.
yeah, I can agree with you on that one. Usually we have issues on the pre-show with volume or things
Mhm,
are not, and it's been fairly consistent having a problem early on in the show, and they fix it,
mhm,
and we get a good show. But this time, right from the beginning, the video quality, like far and above. And I think part of it, they ran everything through New Japan World. They weren't working with Fight. It was all of their stuff, but on the American turf, and it seemed to just everything seemed like to go perfectly well with the production this time around.
mhm, mhm. I was very pleasantly surprised and impressed with everything. But that commentary crew, solid. We couldn't have asked for a better commentary crew.
No, again, you really couldn't because again it was just phenomenal. So yeah. So we kick it off. Yeah, Matt Vandergrift defending his strong survive. It's not a title or anything, but is defending his position as the strong survivor against New Japan Academy graduate. And from what everything they were saying, a person that is he joined New Japan Academy and they trained him from the beginning, from the way at least the announcers spoke about him.
Mhm, mhm. It definitely gave me that vibe, how they spoke about him, but also how he wrestled. He
Mm-hmm.
did seem very there's just I don't even know how to explain it, but we see this with WWE Performance Center people also. There's just a particular styling and way that these graduates wrestle that you can tell if they've come in with something beforehand or if they are like an original trainee. This was where they learned all of their original stuff. Yeah, take us into it, man, because this match was fun.
Yeah, it really was. We're kicking it off. Yeah. Matt, again, I don't have a lot of notes for this because it wasn't very long either. That's the other half. Of the strong survivors seem to be pretty quick. Matt does this great spot where he's on his knees and he hops up from his knees into a drop kick that just looks the athleticism for him to jump up from his knees and up to literally Zayn's chest height. This man is not a short person, and kick him in the chest was absolutely impressive. Matt hits a beautiful running shooting star press for 2. Zayn catches Matt coming off the top, hits a very nice looking fall away slam. I wrote a running hop over cutter by Zayn. Oh yeah, where he jumped over top of Vandergriff and then hit him with a cutter down. Look, yeah, that look again. The guy has some. He's got some athleticism and some skill, but his look is something to be desired. We'll say that. Matt does this that in the corner, and he'll do that roll back and like up kick somebody. Looked really good. Up kicks Zayn off the apron. Then he hits a beautiful tope to the floor, going over top the corner. Like he goes over top the corner, like over the post, everything, and it was just absolute fire. Back in the ring, Zayn gets the sky high spine buster for 2. In the end, though, Zayn runs up the. He's Matt has him in a backslide, so Zayn like runs up the corner like Bret Hart style out of the sleeper, but out of a backslide, and flips forward. But then Matt pushes him down, picks him up, and hits him with a Styles Clash to get the win. Again, and we're used to seeing him like Zayn finish everything with a 450. I'm glad we're seeing something different from Matt Vandergriff because he keeps evolving and he's doing great and he's got the beard again. So that's what it just helps with his not make him not have a baby face.
Yeah, yeah. The beard, I don't know what it is with him. It adds a level of fun to him. Seeing him without a beard, it does age him in a weird way. He has very much reminds me a little bit of Yoda Tsuji in that he has a very oddly unique skill set that makes him equal parts exciting and interesting to watch. That yeah, that back kick that you were talking about, I called it a rolling mule kick because I didn't know what else to call it. It just looks so cool. And just the way he can just whip into it just very suddenly. It's almost like an out of nowhere moment for him. Did you hear what Veda said that his nickname is?
No.
The Aerial Alchemist?
Oh yeah, I remember hearing that. You're right. Yes.
Yeah, I like that. I dig that because it's something new, something different. We haven't like we saw the steampunk stuff for quite some time, trendy. I would say like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. It kind of has fallen out of
Yeah.
trendiness in lieu of TikTok and whatnot. But I like to see it starting to come back with Vandergrift because he wears those cool goggles. He's got that cool jacket. He's got an interesting theme song, that interesting look. He does have that almost like crazy cupcakes kind of style in the you know what I'm talking about, right? Because it's like it's not quite goofy, but it's not quite lunatic level. It's like that fun level of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs kind of thing. Yeah, I obviously a very big fan of Vandergriff here. ZJ was actually I really enjoyed his work. He kept up with Vandergriff very, very well. You couldn't really tell for me that these were graduates. It
Mm.
just seemed like a very solid, independent indie match, something that we would see, in RCW or LPW or Top Talent. It felt like a really good, solid match. His look, though, I do have to agree, not my favorite.
He made me
Um,
think of like he makes me think of and this isn't it's a no judgment, but it makes me think of those shitty white rappers.
right from the late 90s, early 2000s, with the
Or
cornrows and the baggy pants.
or rich kids playing gangster sound of thing where they put cornrows in their hair and they're like, but
Yeah, and
they're from
tinfoil in their teeth.
yeah, but
Like,
again, tinfoil. But again, just the look felt that way, and kind of the way he was like he played. I don't know in his
yeah.
post match interview a little bit too. But I think he'll refine his look. He'll refine his style. Again, it's nothing set in
You
stone.
know, I, I I'm not gonna lie, I kind of hope he doesn't. Because how interesting would it be? Because like those guys in my high school were the guys that we love to hate. How fun would it be for him to be that like almost like slim shady from the 90s, like hateable rapper kind of guy? He could really turn that into a fun heel character, I think. Something very easy to hate. I think he could run with it. I think it would be really good, actually.
Yeah, again, that could be a great thing for him too. Again, we'll
Yeah.
see we'll see where we go with this guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna move on. Second match on the pre-show. Mina Shirakawa on a pre-show. That is just seems wrong to me, but
Very shameful, yes.
yeah. It is Mina Shirakawa and Viva Van versus former Rev Pro Wrestling British Women's Champion Alex Windsor and former Strong Women's Champion challenger Trisha Dora. Veda saying that Alex had a 769-day title reign as the Rev Pro Women's British Undisputed Champion, a women's champion there. So again, she just lost it like a month or she lost it like just like 3 or 4 months ago, just in December to Danny Luna. So again, like really 769 days. That's an insane run.
Very, very, very impressive.
Yeah, and so yeah, we're getting a good match here. Aviva Van applying for her membership in Empress Nexus Venus here, dancing alongside Mina. It's her own dance, but again, better than Waka, that's for sure.
Poor Waka, like, we love her so much, so much. She's the, like, the crowd sweetheart, to be
But she
fair.
doesn't have dancing skills.
But yeah, gosh, diggity dang, can she if she don't have rhythm? That poor girl, she could do the walk of weapons like nobody's business, but man, that dance is
Yeah,
hard for her.
I really think we might have to see Viva Van be brought into EXP. I think that should be a good addition.
I agree. I mean, and like that little cool little flip over bendy thing that she did with the entrance in correlation with Mina,
Mhm,
I agree. Like her look is very, beautiful and elegant, but at the same time badass, which is exactly what Mina and Micah go for.
mhm.
She's got that ability to dance, which would be like great to have with Mina. I'm sure Mina would love to have a partner
I think Z
regularly.
I think Xena I've seen Xena dance in the past, but she's not like regularly does it. I've seen her do it a couple times, but
Yeah, like
she's
if
not
her and
regular.
Mina are tagging, she'll come out and do it. But like if it's like a
Yeah,
three-person or more kind of
she
thing,
just
she
rolls out
doesn't
with
do it.
everybody else. Yeah,
Yeah, and if she's
yeah.
on her own, obviously she just comes out as well. So yeah, I'd love to see that because maybe it'll get Xena to dance a little more because Xena's actually pretty good at it too.
There we go. So yeah, uh, really good match here. Mina dodges a lariat and she starts doing a pose, and then Trish just attacks her. I'm just like, okay, great. I actually thought it was quite funny here. Um, Mina does come with that around the world. She comes back with that around the world Russian leg sweep there, but she does and starts working over the leg again. Really fun match here. Mina working over getting the figure four on, but Windsor just comes in and straight up just kicks Mina in the face. Like, yeah, kind of mean like too. I was like, ooh, that's not nice. That's not nice at all.
That's
Um,
that strong style though, that UK strong style meeting the Japanese strong style.
and then Windsor in the door hit this really nice big boot Russian leg sweep combo. I was like, ooh, they got tag moves. I like this. Again, Trish Jordan I'm used to from like ROH and some other stuff with the infantry and everything. So like again, she's really really good. Windsor just the strikes this girl has on her are crazy. She goes for a figure four on Mina. But Mina's like, "You're not getting a figure four on me, lady." It was just like, no, no, just not happening. Uh, Mina ends up getting that spin over the back splash off of over Trishora's back, landing on Alex Windsor. Um, yeah, really good throughout. Viva hits a nice wheel kick to Windsor after flipping off her back. Windsor blindsides Viva Van and gets the Scorpion Deathlock. But Mina kick comes in and kicks her really quite hard to break it up. I think it was a receipt for getting kicked in the face.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a really hard kick.
Yeah, Mina and Viva double teamer, and they do the dual hip attacks to the head of Alex Windsor. I was like, yeah, get
Waka weapons.
some Waka weapons going on.
A double
Uh,
waka weapon.
yeah. Again, it's those Club Venus hip attacks. Like Mina and Waka did it. Mina and May would do it again. It just seems like a Club Venus weapon there. Yeah, Windsor strikes Viva on the something. Oh, shit! She smacked her on the ass. I think, or it says ATT. I think and the T is very far from is kind of far from the S. I don't know what I typed here. She hits her. Mina makes a save, hits that implant DDT. Viva hits a slingshot double underhook suplex, but Trish pushes Mina into the pinfall that Viva was getting on Windsor. Windsor slips off the shoulders of Viva, picks her up, goes Chicago here, hitting a GTS for the win.
Yes. This is a very fun match.
You can endear yourself to a crowd when you're hitting the hometown heroes finisher there.
You know what? But the crowd was pretty lit at this event. They did not react as negatively to this one as they did to Kenta's
Yeah, which I
later.
don't understand. It's like be
Oh,
very careful when you're booing Kenta with the GTS because he's the man who invented who popularized the move. That's the man who CM Punk stole it from.
yeah, you don't boo the OG. It made sense to me that they were booing um
You boo
Perry
him for the
as the
fact.
one.
Well, you're booing Kenta because he's the heel, so you're booing
Mhm.
him for the heel in the match. But you should be popping for a GTS when the originator does it.
100%, 100%. We can forgive the absent-mindedness of the Chicagoans in that one.
Mm,
This match though, um, so the one thing I wanted to mention is there was a point at the start there where Mina was really working her assets. She was doing a lot of shaking, which
mm,
doesn't get as much of a reaction in Japan as it did in the US. Obviously, the American crowd's a little bit more rambunctious, a little bit more rowdy.
mm.
So they certainly appreciated a lot more. Mina did it a lot more as a result, which I was not complaining about. Um, where's the next point? What I really go back to the look of Viva. Her makeup was a perfect little accent to Mina Shirakawa because even though her outfit was just black and like silver, she had that accent of purple, blue, and pink eyeshadow, which complemented Mina's outfit perfectly, which I loved. It's a nice little homage to them working together, or maybe it wasn't, but it still looked great on her. Again, that little entrance flip that she did, I've never, I had never seen her do that before because this was kind of like the first time I've seen her entrance. When I've seen a match of hers, usually I just kind of see clips from the middle of the match. So this was fun for me because I was like, ooh, that was sexy and really cool and very like showed off her flexibility. So I had high expectations going into this match, and this girl did not disappoint. Um, you mentioned the double Waka weapon. Um, the one thing that I could mention that you didn't was the I don't know what this move is called, but it impacts the jaw. It's when they're holding on to the opponent's hand and they just fall down, and them falling down pulls the opponent's face into your foot.
Oh, eat the feet.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Gail Kim, I want to say. Eat the feet.
I'm not a fan of the name, but okay. I like the move. I think it's very, very cool, very effective, just like a sudden snap filler kind of thing. As I love to say, a simple but effective move. I really enjoyed that from Viva. Otherwise, super solid match. All four of these women, super, super impressive. I agree. This is where the main show should have started. This should have been the first match. Because gosh dang, would have set
Yeah.
up so good. Because it really did.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. I agree with you. So we're going to move on. First official match of the pay-per-view side, because you could watch those first few matches for free. Minoru Suzuki versus his former pupil, Red Narita. And I noticed on the show a bunch of American refs on the show. I think Taito was on here at some point, but I couldn't. Yeah, I did. I know Taito was in here at some point. It was later
He
in the night.
was. He was much later in the night. Wasn't he with
I think he got the
Ishii and
red shoes.
Nemeth?
Yeah, I think he got the red shoes role and got the last two matches. Because
Yeah,
it was he was in
he's
there
the
later in the night.
best.
Yeah, Taito. Love me some Taito.
Taito, like Naito with a T.
Yeah, but better because he's Taito. Suzuki comes out to Kaze Ninare. The crowd gets it, and then he goes in. He gets the Kaze Ninare, and as soon as the crowd finishes, Kaze Ninare, he attacks Narita, and just setting him to the floor. Just they go to the floor. Suzuki's running in the barricades, choking him with the cables. Murder Grandpa chants in the building. We're just chanting "Murder Grandpa," and I'm like, yes. Suzuki trying to break Narita's arm in the barricade. He's like trying to, and it just, and I can't remember. I think Chris Charlton, one of them said, this is Suzuki. I think it's Chris said, this is Suzuki's first New Japan match of the year. He has yet to wrestle in New Japan this year. So this is his first New Japan match of the year.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, Rita fakes out he collapses and he's faking it and pulls Minoru Suzuki to the floor when they're back in the ring. Runs him into the barricade. Narita gets back in. Suzuki hits the apron. He pump kicks him off the apron into the barricade, back into the barricade. He's raking the eyes. Narita gets some stomps, sends Suzuki in. They're back in. He gets in stomps, sends Suzuki back out, runs him into the barricade again. Cocky pin by Narita. And it's like, he's the one I'm surprised that does it, because it's like, as much as, yes, he's a douche, I'm surprised he does the cocky pin. It's like, you're tiny, dude. You can't do cocky pins. You're tiny. It's Murder Grandpa. You don't cocky pin Murder Grandpa.
I mean, yeah, you do, because it pisses off Murder Grandpa and then makes him more murderous.
Yeah, another pump kick by Narita. Then Suzuki runs Narita into the corner, hits a running boot, unloads with some hard forearms right on the jaw, like just landing perfectly. Narita gets a sleeper, but then Suzuki reverses into his own sleeper, takes it to the ground, gets the hooks in. Narita gets an arm on the ropes. So Narita, his nose looks like it's broken because it starts bleeding, just pouring blood. Not pouring blood, but it started bleeding. Suzuki starts bullying the ref, and then Narita gets a guillotine. He gets that guillotine knee strike that he has, or a guillotine knee strike stomp. It's like that. It's like that he hits it, and then he drives the person into the ground with it. And Narita gets a chair, puts it in the corner. Suzuki with another sleeper, but gets pushed into the corner, but avoids the chair. This is where Suzuki grabs the chair, but the ref takes the chair from Suzuki, and as he's getting rid of it, his back is turned. Narita hits him with the push-up bar. Hits Sold Out, or the X Factor, for the win. Suzuki's on the outside. He's pissed. He's trying to attack Narita, but he gets held back. And then he tosses this dude. And I swear it was like the Christopher Walker going, "No, not Brendan Taylor." And it's just, as he's tossing this dude, this lion on the outside. So obviously that young lion's name is Brendan Taylor.
And we salute you, Mr. Taylor.
Oh,
May we keep your memory. Because did
sacrifice
you
to the
see
Murder
the
Grandpa.
Did you see the look on the face of the young lion who didn't get yeeted?
Oh, he was scared. He was so
He
scared.
he was baby Brent in Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. He was wishing he was wearing a diaper. My goodness, that ooh, the look on his face was just terror. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to add to this. I mentioned the same things. Suzuki pissed at the beginning of this match, going right for Narita. What I liked about this, or what I've liked about this journey for Narita, I'll say, is that since joining House of Torture, he has had this just charisma and personality that he was lacking, unfortunately, under the tutelage of Minoru Suzuki. And I hate to say it because Narita has done so well, but I feel like being teamed with Minoru Suzuki in that time was probably a detriment to Narita because who's more popular than Minoru Suzuki? Like he was in a group with El Desperado and Ren Narita, and that was the hierarchy of popularity. You know, Ren Narita just came back from excursion, but he was certainly the least important person in that faction. This was, I feel, Narita's full coming out of being a face and embracing his House of Torture continuation in this business. And I feel he did so good. Suzuki brought out such a good aspect of him. I mean, look at him exiting afterwards with his bloody nose, and he's just stumbling out of there, laughing and cackling. That was an aspect that we hadn't seen before. We saw another evolution. I'm looking forward to it. I'm just hoping that Jack Perry doesn't come in and yank that as well.
It's very possible. It's very possible. Again, I know for the American side, they were setting up the Perry Uno match, but then Perry ends up in New Japan, kind of taking Narita's spot in the feud with Umino. If it was just an American feud, I would have understood it, but he totally took over the feud in Japan too. So
Yeah, he straight out yoinked Ren Narita's future in NJPW. So now it's like Narita is having to restart it. But I'm gonna say, if he's going with this, like, again, cuckoo for cuckoo puffs kind of crazy kind of thing that we're seeing in the House of Torture, I'm all for it because that means it'll take Jack Perry there too a little bit. And who we need that for him.
oh yeah. So we
Mhm.
move on. It's the Strong Women's Championship match. Stephanie Vaquer defending her title against Azumi. Um, there was a great stat that one of them said over Azumi's 2 reigns as high speed champion, she had a collective total of 678 days as high speed champion in 2 reigns, and the most defenses of that title than anybody. And in one of her reigns, she has like I think she has a record for most defenses of any title in the company. I think, or I might be Saya Kamatani now. Might have that now under the Wonder, but yeah, she has one of the highest title. But between both, she has the most title defenses in the in all of Stardom between both of her reigns. So pretty
Doesn't
impressive.
surprise me. Yeah, that I mean, very impressive. I mean, we already knew that she was a star and so good at what it is that she does. But yeah, knowing that and that she's only 21,
Yeah.
it's insane.
Uh, well, yeah, 10 years already in her career for 10 years, and she's only 21. Uh, well, 10 and a half years now because that was last October. I want to say was the anniversary of her joining Stardom. So when she was 11, um, great takedown early on by Vaquer to get Euro clutch right off the hop. But again, Azumi going high speed. Vaquer stops the sunset flip and just stomps her face, and then hits this nice her running leg drop. I get so yeah, I wrote this down. I guess they faced off years ago in Stardom, according to I think it was Veda that said this. They had faced off years ago. This is Azumi in her pre-match in the video was saying you don't know this version of me now. This like what she was kind of leaving because she's not a little girl anymore is what was kind of talking to on that one. Um, yeah, Vecchio pulling her by the hair. Gets a head scissor. It gets the head scissors and slams the face into the mat repeatedly. Gets a 2 count. Vaquer just vicious, stomping at the head, just working her over with headbutts, and Azumi's following it back with strikes. She ducks it. Azumi ducks Larry, hits the suplex. Vaquer right back on Azumi, gets a dragon screw, like gets the one leg hooked in the ropes, and then dragon screws out of the corner. Vaquer misses because Azumi went to the floor. So Vaquer misses the apron PK. Azumi sweeps her on the apron and then kicks her in the face. And she gets a second rope. She goes to second rope, hits a double stomp to Vaquer on the floor. Looking like one of the announcers yelling, "She could have broke her rib," and it was like, "That's very true. You could have broke her rib." Again, Azumi working over the arm. She misses a stomp off the top, but Azumi does get she gets drop kicked, but then she comes back, hits a roundhouse kick. But Vaquer comes back with a backdrop suplex. Both ladies are down. They're trading strikes at center. Vaquer pulls an armbar, but Azumi gets into a pin positioning, and Vaquer transitions to the bulldog choke, the John Moxley special. But Azumi gets her foot on the ropes. Vaquer with the suplex. Again, they're going back and forth a lot here. Azumi eventually gets to the top and hits that double stomp, but Vaquer kicks out at like 2.9. Azumi gets Azumi sushi, gets the Mystica, and then turning it into Azumi sushi. But again, Vaquer getting out of the 2.9. Vaquer hitting headbutts in the corner, then dropping Azumi in the corner, hits the double knees to the face. Azumi gets out of the package backbreaker, tries the Mystica again, but is caught, put back into, and hit with the package backbreaker. And Stephanie Vaquer retains the Strong Women's Championship. And getting in the face of Azumi after the match, she's like getting in her face after she won with the title, holding up the title. It's like, oh, great.
Yeah, yeah. I'm very much enjoying this because you know how much I love that very clear definition of heel and face. And sometimes Azumi likes to walk that line. She's like an Ellen Gubernable. Sometimes she's, a little heely. Sometimes she's more facey. Stephanie Vaquier makes it very clear what side of the line she is standing on. She has no face, none whatsoever. The only face she has is that beautiful face. Everything else is just heel, 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 and I love it. It is so refreshing because we see these girls that go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Charlotte Flair is an example. Sometimes she's heel. She's a really great heel. Sometimes she's face. She's a really good face. I don't know if I'd believe Stephanie Vaquer is a face. She's such a good heel. She has this like unapologetic confidence about her and in her badassery as she walks around that ring. It's not even a walk. She struts around in that ring because she knows how damn good she is. So damn good. I love her look, how evil it kind of looks with the two little claw marks over her eye there, the maleficent horns, the dark and feathery cape, and then the fact that she's just dripping in gold now. It's just so impressive. But then on top of that, she doesn't need to say anything. She has this charisma that just radiates off of her that you can't help but pay attention to. But then having the same kind of faciness value with Azumi just made this match so interesting and so fun and just magnetic to the point where you couldn't look away. It was such a good time. Um, there was that mini little, I didn't know what to call it. I just called it a mini face wash. Not like with TJP where it's in the corner, but like where Vaquier kind of jumped up and like she didn't go very high. It was only like up into Azmi's face, but she just jumped up and just rubbed her feet off of Azmi's forehead. Do you know which part I'm talking about?
I think so.
She just kind of hops up and like just rubs her feet across her forehead, kind of like I called it a face wash because she immediately went for her face. I don't know if that's what it actually was, but it was really quick. One of those lucha things that I really, really enjoy seeing. You mentioned that kind of Brazilian lap dance looking thing where she just repeatedly slams their faces into the ground. Super unique thing that I haven't really seen anybody but Ryusuke Taguchi do, which is probably merciful. I'd rather see Vaquer do it though over Taguchi, just saying. Um, yeah, that double stomp from Azumi to Vaquer on the floor was just brutal. So crazy. And yeah, it's one of those simple but effective moves. These are one of the ones, the double stomps that I find super impressive because she has to work really, really hard to not break a rib, to not kill Vaquer when she's doing this little hippity hop. Again, the coup de grace kind of style, that double stomp, is not my favorite kind of move. It's a little too simple, but I know also how effective it can be. Maybe it's probably why I don't really like seeing it because I know you could really seriously hurt somebody if you do it improperly. Um, that what is it called? Eat the feet?
Eat defeat, like a defeat.
Oh, defeat. Oh, it's what the kids are saying. Okay. Yeah, the Eat Defeat by Vaquer was so good.
No, like
Um,
defeat, like you've been defeated. Like a defeat, somebody's been defeated, like to best them in combat. It's eat defeat, but it's a foot,
oh,
but it's with an A instead of two E's. It's EA, like an actual defeat, but it's about the foot. Yeah.
so wouldn't it be Eat the Foot?
Eat defeat.
But you're only putting one foot then.
It's what you
You
call.
just
It's
plural.
what she called it. It's what Gail Kim called it.
Oh, the conversations we could have about technical names in wrestling. Um, yeah, the Eat Defeat by Vaquer on Asmi was really, really good. Really, really quick, kind of out of nowhere kind of styling with this. Yeah, this is a great match. Really, really fun. Because there were moments of high speed, but then there were almost all those moments of like slow down. Also, Vakia very much in charge of the speed of this match. She kind of controlled how fast or how slow the match progress went.
Yeah. So we're gonna get to the next match, and it is a match that I'm not gonna be going through in depth because. Oh, what?
Hold on.
Oh, sorry. Post match. I apologize. Post match. I
Mhm.
do apologize. You're right. So, as Vaquer is celebrating in the ring, Alex Windsor makes her way out. She says, "I understand that you don't know who I am. I'm at the top of the UK and European divisions, and I've beaten the best of the best in Japan. I've never seen in Stardom, so it's not true. Um, if you're up for it, May 11th, Resurgence. You put your title on the line against Alex Windsor. I bloody dare ya." That character, some like so simple, so good, just okay, and just drops the mic. I love the just pure confidence of a just okay. She doesn't have to say shit to you. She knows she's gonna win. She's that confident that she's gonna win. She's just like okay, and just drops the mic. Just beautiful, beautiful.
Mhm. Mhm, mhm. This is exactly what I was telling you that I love about Stephanie Belkia. It's just how much confidence she just oozes. It's so good. I'm excited for that because I was very excited for Alex Windsor. And now we get to see them go one on one. Oof, that's going to be one hell of a match. I'm excited.
Oh heck yeah. And so we're gonna get to what turned into one of my two favorite moments of the night. It is the four-way strong champion tag team championship match. I'm not going through this like I normally do. So much happened in this match. Same with Riot Rules. I'm going to give a few highlights, but I'm not talking about everything. It's God defending their strong openweight tag team championships. It's El Fantasma Hikuleo defending against TMDK Shane Hayes and Mikey Nichols, defending also against Fred Rosser and Tom Lawler versus the West Coast Wrecking Crew of Darrell Nelson and Royce Isaac. I loved Lawler's new look here with the fight shorts, and he's got the MMA gloves on now, so he's kind of going back to that combat look. I know Mel can appreciate him not being in the Daisy Dukes anymore.
I
She,
sure can.
TMDK came out third, and then Isaac just slaps Haste in the ass, and I was like, "The fuck."
Hey, it's like
Uh,
football, right? They do that all the time.
and then when ELP's going to pose on the rope, Haste goes and starts shaking the rope, almost making him fall. It was great because usually he poses, and then Hikuleo calls and he poses beside him, but he shook
Yeah,
it and made he almost fall down, so he had to get off the rope. It was really funny.
it
And then
was. It
finally,
was.
Royce Isaacs ends up throwing his towel at Lawler. So again, this match was a lot of great back and forth. Team DK get their flip senton fish drop combo. So Rosser in there, those solid forearms or those solid forearms that he hits. He was smacking him in the Nichols' face. Looked really good. Yeah, Nelson and Isaacs playing the heels in this. They're the only real bad guys in this match. Really coming into it. Um, Lawler gets a guillotine choke on ELP at one point. They double team ELP, and Lawler hits the stroke while Rosser hits. ELP reverses it, and oh, sorry, no. Lawler gets ELP down, and then he hits Jeff Jarrett's stroke to Rosser onto ELP. And I had to explain what this move was to Mel because she didn't know. And I said, "Oh yeah, that's Jeff Jarrett's all finished, the stroke." And she was
Yeah,
like,
I had
"Oh
no idea.
yeah." Yeah, just a lot of chaos. Everybody tag, and this is one where there's only two guys in the ring at a time, and so everybody's tagging in, so you can not be the legal man. But there was really no like at the end of it, kind of used a legal man at the end, but it was really weird. Lots of crazy back and forth. Hikuleo gets a choke slam at one point. Again, everybody's just doing crazy shit. And it's going to the last couple spots of the match. Lawler and Ross are attacking Team DK. They get submissions, but Hikuleo lariats them all to the ground, and he God sends Rosser and Lawler. Stinger splash and then a power slam to Jarrell Nelson by Hikuleo. ELP gets pulled out. Nelson hits a cutter to Hikuleo. Isaac sends him to the floor. West Coast Wrecking Crew are double teaming ELP. Hit the power bomb into the Death Valley driver onto the knees. But the pin gets broken up by Lawler. And this is where West Coast Wrecking Crew really get pissed off at Lawler because he essentially just like their leader and costing them the tag titles. And they are pissed. Rosser comes in, and then West Coast Wrecking Crew and Lawler and Rosser just face off. They're brawling. Double rolling forearms to Nelson by Lawler and Rosser. Isaac avoids his rolling forearm. Rosser ends up getting knocked down. Nelson ends up sending Lawler out of the ring. ELP hits a super kick to Jarrell Nelson, and Hikuleo comes in, hits a God slam to Jarrell Nelson. And as ELP is going for that rope walk splash, Shane Hayes blind tags ELP, rolls in. Hikuleo has been tossed out. He tosses ELP out of the ring. Jackknife rolls up Jarrell Nelson, and we have new strong champions, TMDK, baby.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm so happy right now, man. Oh, man. This
It is
match was.
about damn time.
They finally got New Japan Gold. Even if it's the American New Japan Gold, it's or silver, whatever the color this is. They've got titles in New Japan. And then they did their press conference, and they said this is the start, and then they're coming back for Bishamon to take those titles too. I don't really want the champions put back together, but if it gets me Team DK as IWGP Tag Champs, I'm fine with it. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm so happy with this.
Yeah. I mean, going into this, this was the only result I kind of wanted. I really have enjoyed the evolution of ELP and Hikuleo,
Hmm.
but they're not getting to a point of Bishamon with me, but they're starting to take the steps in that direction where it's like We need to see someone else in that position. And man, over the last year, we have been seeing if you want to have a great tag match, throw in TMDK. But it was between TMDK or Aussie Open. It's like you
Mhm.
could really take your pick on you're going to get a great match because these guys showcase their opponents as much as they showcase themselves. They know how to work so well. Great win for them. So happy. The second story happening in this though was we're gonna say devil what's that word? Dissolving.
Yeah, the
Devolution?
dissolution, the dissolution.
Dissolution. There we go.
Took me a second
Of
too. Don't worry.
of Team Filthy. It was almost, even though it was kind of set up, it was almost like Isaacs and Nelson were blindsided, not by the tag teaming of Rosser and Lawler, well, maybe a little bit, but like I think they were blindsided more by the fact that Tom was in it for Tom in this one and not for the betterment of the team. And it caused some all of the emotions, a new emotion. It was great. Um, it was a nice secondary kind of angsty thing while we were sitting here waiting for what we knew the real story was going to be with TMDK. It was interesting though, because I've always been used to seeing West Coast Wrecking Crew and Tom Lawler as heels. It was interesting to see Lawler almost aggravatingly fighting for himself to stay face. Like there were times where you could tell he wanted to step out of that zone back into what he was doing, and he'd just be like, "Erg, get back in," and making that noise exactly and doing his thing. With Rosser, it kind of made me almost feel bad for what happened post match. Let's talk about what happened post match.
Yeah, so like TMDK run off with their belts, they're celebrating, they're the new champs, and then we cut back to the ring. Um, Rosser and Lawler are there, and West Coast Wrecking Crew attack them. Rosser gets literally dumped on his head on the floor, literally dumped on his head. It looked. Isaac's pile drives the shit out of Lawler. Then Nelson comes off the top, hits that top rope elbow. Um, this is where they get him like against the ropes and they pull on his hair. Jarrell Nelson gets and he cut like Lawler must have some serious trust in Jarrell Nelson here because
Right.
he was literally rubbing across the scalp as he was cutting. Like he had that shit like super short.
And not only that, I'm also going to shout out the trust of Royce Isaacs, who is sitting there like pretty much like master locking Tom into position. And
Yeah.
he's stabbing at Lawler's head. Isaac's head is directly behind it. He's taking it to the eyeballs.
Yeah,
Mr. Nelson, sir.
there's some serious trust there. So they cut his hair off. Um honestly, and I'll say this, it makes Lawler a little less filthy. I'll say that. You know what I mean? By cutting away that filthy ass hair.
I was gonna say, I felt badly for him after this match. They all did their jobs properly in this because I felt really bad for him starting to look like a grandpa with that little horseshoe left on the top of his
so,
head.
so like me, like just the hair on the outside or the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then Royce Isaacs decides to eat some of Tom Lawler's hair, and then he feeds it to Fred Rosser, who's trying to help Lawler, but they're beating him up. And I'm just like,
All I could think of in that moment was that frickin' song that I just sent you the other day. Don't you put it in your mouth. Don't you put it in your mouth. Don't stuff it in your face. Gross. Jim Kasai.
yeah. And on the backstage interviews, ELP and Hikuleo did hint about going back to Japan and winning the IWGP titles back, or winning those titles back from Bishamon. I don't know if I really want to see that. What? What are you laughing at?
And then just the way he did it too with ELP. Fuck. Well, we lost. Fuck. Like he was just so. There was the most casual fuck
Well,
I've ever heard in an
like,
interview.
well, again, everybody's saying Canadians. Well, we can say mean things. We're also very polite as we say mean things, and we're polite when we get it. We're nice when we get angry. Come on, it's how it
It's
happens.
it's true. It's true. And it was just so funny because it was just he was so sad, disappointed, but also so hopeful for the future at the same time. But just the way he was just saying it, and it was like how he was starting almost every sentence in the interview. Fuck, we almost had it, didn't we, Iggy? Fuck, so close. But I was just
Yeah.
like, man, okay. And JBW, we don't have that PG rating.
Yeah, and then West Coast Wrecking Crew saying that Team Filthy is done. They're no longer his friends, and they're going to kick their asses. And then Rosser and Lawler are doing their interview, and Rosser wants to go to California, where he's from. He wants into West Coast Wrecking Crew territory, in his own territory. And I don't know what he meant here, but it sounded like he was threatening to attack Nelson and Isaacs in their homes.
Yeah, them and their homes and their families and stuff. I'm like, yo,
That's not, no,
we
dude, come on.
just saw gang level roster there. We know. Where'd Mr. Steve Rogers go?
Yeah, Rosser's got a dark side, man. He's got a dark. He's Captain America when he was
From the
brainwashed by
Bronx.
no Captain
He's not
America when he
from
was
Queens. He's from the
well,
Bronx.
he's Captain America when he's from California though. But he's from Oakland. You know, he's gangster. He's from Oakland. But yeah, he's Steve Rogers when he's brainwashed by Hydra. That's what Rosser is right
There
now.
you
It's
go.
that version of Captain America that's coming out.
Oh, yeah, that was scary. I was
Yeah,
sitting there listening to that afterwards. I was like, uh, did we just let that air? Was it necessary to go that deep? I don't know that it was.
yeah. So we move on to the match. Probably had the most heat on the entire night. It's Shota Umino versus Jack Perry. So CM Punk chants are raining out as Perry comes out. Then just the boos, man.
It
He's got a.
was deafening. It was like, do you remember when we booed Andy Anderson out of the Nate building here?
Mhm.
It was
It's
that level loud.
but with like 6,000 plus people in a
Yeah,
setup for I think like 6,200. They were a couple hundred shy of sellout for their setup on this show, and that
so
many people were
crazy.
just hating on this man. Like
Mhm.
he has riot guards with him with like riot shields and stuff. He's wearing a Chicago flag, drops it to reveal a jacket that says "Cry Me a River." As he's walking out, someone yells, 90210 sucks. I agree with that man. 90210 sucks. That remake was terrible, but the original, that is Beverly Hills 90210, that's what the show is called, was great. The remake, the continuation one in the late 2000s sucked. But
Yes,
yeah.
I agree. I agree. The nothing beats an OG show.
Yeah, the crowd just hates this dude. Umino looking like shit with his hair. I realized why I hate it so much because I think he cut it, realized it looks like shit at this length. So, but instead of cutting it short and looking even dumber, he's at that point where he's going to regrow it, but it's in that weird middle stage. So it's not. It's at that
Yeah.
weird, annoying middle stage that we all hate for people's hair when they're growing it. Yeah.
Yeah. If you know the original like Ken doll from the 90s where he had that
What he
big
looks like.
coif of hair, the plastic hair, that's exactly what Shota Umino looks like. He looks like a Japanese Ken doll,
Yep.
which isn't a problem, but kinda is.
Yeah, so Smash gets going. There's a scapegoat chant at one point. I heard a scapegoat chant, which is surprising for this crowd. Perry like slaps him into the face after they break on the rope, escapes the floor. He grabs a water bottle and like opens it, drinks something, and then whips it into the crowd, like splashing a few people. Oh man, Umino's attacking him. Like they're again, just this match is just these people just beating the piss out of each other. Um, yeah, it's Perry's attacking the eyes with Umino. Um, and there's literally a chant going, "You got choked out." No, he didn't. You got choked out. No, he didn't. If you know what this is, it's from the footage that was shown on AEW uh, uh, on the last Dynamite. There before this, the Dynamite 2 days before this, which that footage coming out only benefited Perry at this show, but it was dumb for it to air on AEW. So
Yeah, yeah. And like to all the fans who were like, this doesn't make sense. Why'd they show it? Why'd they show it? Yeah, it doesn't make sense with your programming, but it
no,
made sense for ours.
yeah,
So,
again, Tony will figure out a way. It's also it's helping the Buck. It's to make the Buck seem delusional about FTR and blaming CM Punk for stuff. And again, I understand their reasoning, but it did such a good thing for Jack Perry at the Chicago show, man.
oh
Oh,
gosh,
he
did it
was already
ever.
he was already going to get booed, but yeah. And again, it's just
Mhm.
these kick like beating the piss out of each other. Um, and this crowd is not really behind Umino as he does stuff. They're not going, yeah. They're just more just booing the piss out of Perry.
They
Umino's
hate Perry more than they love Umino, that's for
and
sure.
again, you could have put like Bolton Oleg in here, and it would have been just as much heat. They could have put like Shomakato in here. I don't think it would have changed the way this crowd felt because this crowd hates Perry. It has nothing to do with who he's facing. It's all about Perry. I'm sorry, it was all about Perry in this match. Just so good throughout. Perry's disrespectfully kicking at the head of Umino at one point, slapping him. Umino strikes back. They're trading strikes. Um, Perry spits at Umino. Umino gets this look, and he just he was been like throwing weak shots. When he gets spit at, he fires up and just starts wailing shots in. It just hits the uppercut. Um, Perry slaps Umino and attacks, but Umino hits a drop kick. Umino gets the inverted bloody Sunday, then gets that pop up knee, and then hits the ignition for 2. Umino calling for Death Rider, but Perry gets out, hits a super kick, and the Poison Rana. He ducks but then Umino goes for Blaze Blade. He ducks. Perry gets an unprettier for 2, calling back to his former mentor Christian. And Christian would be like, "Come here, boy. I'll be your father. I'll be your father. I'll be your father now." Because again, his whole gimmick is about people who don't have their dads. Come on, it's his whole gimmick.
I know, and it's like, at first it was funny, but now it's like a little weird to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just because he's demanding that people call him daddy, and I want that to be a choice.
Glass jaw knee by Perry, but Umino kicks out of that like the last possible moment. Uh, Perry does the run up into the corner, CM Punk style knee, and then he calls for GTS, gets him up, flips off the crowd, but Umino turns it into a DDT, follows it up, Blaze Blade. Umino hits Death Rider for the win. And then we got the part that I hated more than anything, and it's Perry offering the handshake. They shake hands, they hug. Perry flips off the crowd and leaves. And you just negated everything you did to make this guy a fucking heel.
Yeah. I was like from the beginning of this match, I was sold on Perry because he came out with the security, and I even messaged you. I'm like, the security detail, I'm a little concerned. Is that for the crowd, or is that because there's some House of Torture people dressed up in there? They're going to be a problem. No problem, which was surprising. Because I definitely expected with Ren Narita being in the building and having originally been the person supposed to be feuding with Shota, that he would show up to support his buddy. I guess we can see how fickle the connections with House of Torture truly are. I'll say this, I was very happy that Perry showed up without his stupid goat head, because that thing is stupid. Every time I see it, all I think about is the witch. It's not even like associated with Jack Perry. It's just associated with some psychological thriller. No, that's weird. Um, yeah, this match. So there was a lot of points in the beginning where it was very obvious to me that Jack Perry did his homework, studied Shota Umino. He had a lot of answers, a lot of reversals for the things that Shota was throwing at him.
Mhm.
But what I did not like about this match was all how Perry was playing to the crowd. F the crowd, man. I guess we don't care because I said fuck a lot earlier. Fuck the crowd, man. You are a heel. You're in the heeliest heel faction in NJPW right now. It makes no sense to be satisfying their need to see you take shots at someone who's not even shouldn't even be on your radar anymore in CM Punk. I know that you're in Chicago. I know you want to antagonize the crowd. You did that with the flag. 100% you did that with the flag. And you did that with flipping them off too. There was no reason to start doing moves that would incite the crowd with Punk isms because you just did that to yourself at that point. Um, I did enjoy the crowd chanting the um, "Oh, cry me a river." That was
Mhm.
really funny. I enjoyed that. That was hilarious. I thought that was an appropriate response. Um, yeah. So yeah, the moment you mentioned about though at the end of this match where Perry playing to the frickin' crowd pretty much cost him this match. It's distraction long enough for Shota to catch him with that. What was it? The Blaze Blade, and then the
Death
what was
Rider.
it? Death Rider. Yeah, I was gonna call it the Death Runner. Weird. I mean, less effective than Death Rider. I don't know. Oh, I am going to call.
Yeah.
Okay. Afterwards, what pissed me off even further afterwards was when he was playing to the crowd, which was already annoying me. That the handshake that you mentioned, the raising of the hand, that mutual sportsmanlike respect, that was an opportunity for you to really solidify your heelness, Mr. Perry. You pull him in, you freaking hit him, level him. I don't care if he just beat you fair and square. You are a heel. Heel that shit. You should hit him. I was disappointed that hitting him didn't happen. But then the third trifecta thing that pissed me off with Mr. Perry leaving the frickin' ring area. Left the ring. Shota's doing his
Oh,
mind. And he's high-fiving the fans. You were just flipping these people off. Why are you high-fiving them? Man, at least wait until the cameras are off of you to start doing that shit. Are you a heel or are you a face? Now I don't fracking know. If you're a heel, true blue that shit. Don't fricking high five these people. Go to and then flip them off because they don't deserve your high five. Even Soy Boy does that better. Come on. Like, is that what you need, Mr. Perry? Is just a one-on-one lesson with Soy Boy? If that'll get him on AEW, fuck it, do it.
yeah.
That was my TED talk.
Yeah. And they did some weird shit with the ending, and I don't understand. I just don't. No. We move on to the as I'm going to call it handicap match. It's Mustafa Ali and his security team versus Hiromu Takahashi and his partner, the Swole, the Jacked, the definitely on steroids. Daryl Jr. is back from excursion.
You
Um,
don't know he's on steroids?
Veda said he was on the juice.
How does she know? I want proof. I think he just got implants. Those are
Okay.
some those are some implants. That is some pretty concentrated swole areas.
Yeah. Um, Hiromu, as he's doing his entrance, is trying to mess with Ali's security, but they're just standing there like stone faced. It was great. Um, There were people with Daryl's in the crowd. I did appreciate the Daryl's in the crowd. Um,
Did you see the rainbow ones too?
oh, was there a rainbow one? I didn't see
There
them.
was a couple rainbow ones.
Nice. Takahashi getting better crowd reaction than the hometown boy Mustafa Ali. Not surprised, no. It's wrong with Takahashi. He's a legend, he's young. He's still young, and he's a legend. Um,
Was it Takahashi though getting that extra pop, or was it Swole Daryl?
could be. So they wrestle for like a couple minutes, and then Takahashi gets tired really fast, and then he puts Daryl in the ring and rolls out and tells Ali to face Daryl. There's a Daryl chant or Daryl Jr. There's a Daryl chant. Veda, and then because Daryl can't stay sitting upright, and Veda says he's too small to stay upright, and I was just like, oh my god, that line got me. So good. Yeah, Ali goes to wrestle Daryl, but Hiromu returns, and and Daryl gets unmasked, and it's, oh my god, it's Daryl Jr. Um, it was Lucha Daryl at first. Oh,
And that little went flying.
yeah. We get it again. We get into a really good match with Ali and Hiromu. I'm not gonna go through everything. You gotta watch. You gotta go watch these. There's some really good stuff. They're flying around. Each of these guys, the chops, the attacks with each other. Um, they're chasing around the ring, and Hiromu goes sliding through the corner like Sami Zayn would used to do. He would go sliding through the corner to grab that DDT, but Ali turns around, grabs him, and DDTs him off the apron to the floor like Green Killer style. And there was a significantly loud thud.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
was.
it was
Yeah,
brutal. Um,
seriously.
and they're working back and forth. Each guy, just the athleticism coming off both these two. Ali gets his no or gets cut open at one point. He's bleeding.
I think it was when he did that. Oh, I can't remember if it was a tope or just a regular dive,
Okay, yeah.
but he,
Sorry, I have it right here. Yeah, I forgot
yeah,
about. Yeah, he hits this beautiful satellite DDT to Hiromu at one point. Looks so good. So yeah, Hiromu has Ali up top, wants to suplex him from the top to the floor, but Ali fights him off. Hiromu punches him. Ali backflips from this like second turnbuckle to the floor, lands on his feet, then jumps back up, knocks Hiromu off the top to the floor, gets in the ring, and this is the part I was like, oh no. He hits a tope suicida to Hiromu on the floor, sending him into the English commentary booth, and Chris Charlton took the goddamn bump.
I mean, without Abe there though, someone needed to go down. I mean, Evo was not in the building, but like, no refs took any major bumps on this show, and an official always has to take a bump at some point. Who better than take one for the team than Mr. Chris Charlton?
Well, if Veda wasn't there, Chris Walker probably would have protected Chris, but he obviously tried to protect Veda instead. It's just like, yeah.
Gentlemen, gentlemen.
Yeah, so they get back in the ring. Hiromu dodges the 450 splash, sends Ali crashing into a corner. Hiromu gets Ali up top, but Ali gets headbutt, sending him off the top. Hiromu runs in. Ali hits a sunset bomb, then that like sunset bombs him off the top, then backflips from the sunset position, backflips up onto the top rope, hits a 450 splash. Ali gets the win. Incredible match with these two. Like I didn't go through a lot with it, but there were some crazy great spots. Ali offers a handshake after the match. Hiromu points to Daryl Jr. So he ends up Hiromu shakes Daryl Jr.'s hand. It was funny.
Ali shakes his hand.
Oh, sorry,
You said
Ali
Romo.
shakes. Sorry, Ali shakes Daryl's hand after the match. Some big Ali chants after the show because again, this is a hometown boy. But again, like absolutely incredibly athletic, great match, and just the Daryl stuff was so funny.
Yes, yes, the Daryl definitely added to it. It makes me happy to see Daryl being used again because, like, Hiromu was really good and entertaining on his own, but sometimes when he lacks his LIJ members, he sometimes is a little lacking with a story. When he has something to fixate on, he is allowed, like, it allows his creativity to just kind of shoot off into the stratosphere. We've seen this before with the what was the food thing? The Philly cheesesteak match. We saw a lot of really fun stuff come out of Hiromu and Doki in that, but they always had like he had to have a thing to fixate on to really help make that match. So I feel like the choice to bring Daryl out was fantastic, and I hope that we see Daryl more going into the future with Hiromu because I miss seeing him. And I think I would rather see Daryl than that creepy eyeball jacket that Hiromu has. Um, you got that. You got that. There was a reversal that Ali did to Hiromu off the turnbuckle that he reversed into a power bomb. Can't
Yeah,
remember what Hiromu.
that was the sunset bomb that he went off
Sunset
the
bomb.
like
Oh,
because
okay.
Hiromu jumped back up and then Ali went over him, sunset flip bombed him down,
Mhm.
then backflipped back up and hit the
Okay.
450 for the finish. Yeah, that was crazy good.
So good. So unique. Something I've never really seen before. Really, really enjoyed that. Really, really cool. Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that. The next match I have a lot of notes on.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through
Surprisingly.
this one as fast as I can because there's a lot to this, and I'm just gonna hit up highlights here because this again is crazy. Riot Rules tag match. Gabe Kidd comes out. He reveals his partners as Clark Connors, no surprise. Kenta. We called Kenta.
Switch the graphics, sir.
Oh yeah, sorry. I always forget to switch graphic. Riot Rules. Yeah, so we get fit on Kidd's team. We get Kenta. No surprise. We called that. We get Clark Connors, and then we also get the War Dogs leader, David Finlay. Again, and then Eddie Kingston comes out, his team, and then he's waiting, and we hear TJP's music hit, and I'm like, oh, TJP, and out comes TJP and Jeff Cobb. Like I was like, yes, let's go. Yeah, I was so excited with that because again, it's my boys, my United Empire right there. Like, come on, who wouldn't want that, right? Like who wouldn't want that? And then the final member, Mel wasn't super excited, and I was like, oh, cool, history. Homicide comes out. It's Eddie Kingston's old tag partner, Homicide. He comes out again. I know Mel wasn't super keen on that because last time we saw Homicide, he was in a death match, and yeah, at that July 4th thing in Japan, yeah. No, but again, he didn't. The only offensive part he did on the entire show was the forking, but yeah.
Yeah, which like I was offended about because that's Drella Maloney's thing. He does the
Yeah,
forking now.
Homicide
Fork
had it
you.
first. Big giant
Things of
brawl to start. TJP using a barbed wire chair to rake over the head of Connors. He's like raking the barbed wire chair on Connors. Eddie getting speed chops in the corner to Connors. TJP ducks the Shillelagh shot from Finlay, hits him with the blood mist. Yeah, Homicide's brawling with Kidd up into the crowd. TJP attacks Finlay with a kendo, choking him. Then Kenta breaks that up, attacking TJP with the kendo stick. Till Cobb attacks Kenta, breaking him up from attacking TJP. Connors atomic drops Kingston on the guardrail, crushing him. It's like, ooh, that wouldn't feel too good. TJP stands on a skateboard on the back of Kenta, then double stomps the skateboard into his back. Tries to do the same thing to Finlay, but Finlay fights out and gives him a Irish Curse backbreaker. Kingston gets a hold of Finlay. He's choking him on the floor with cables. Finlay fighting back, like attacking the eyes and the face of Kingston. Kidd gets the ladder, does that ladder tornado spot, knocking multiple people down until Cobb gets it from behind and Germans the shit out of him with the ladder on his head. Just crazy. Then Connors gets in, tries to spear Cobb, but nothing happens. So Cobb goes to attack him. Connors ducks, gets the speed, and hits him with the spear, finally dropping him. This is where TJP hits the blood mist to Connors. Sorry. Connors gets his barbed wire crown and puts it on that he did have during his dog cage match. He did put a barbed wire on his head. And he goes to attack TJP with some headbutts, but TJP blood mists him. And he pulls the crown down around his mouth, and he does the face wash and running boot in the corner. No. Kenta attacking both Kenta attacks both TJP and Homicide when they're in, gets head petition drop kicks both of them in the corner. He gets the GTS on TJP, and this is where they booed the GTS, but I was just like, I get it. I wasn't mad at it because I understand why they're booing. They're booing because he's attacking TJP. He's the bad guy. Kenta's the bad guy, so they're supposed to boo him. But again, I was surprised they didn't cheer for the GTS, but I understand why they booed. Eddie's just unloading on Finley with a kendo stick, then breaks it over his own head. Eddie Kingston and Gabe Kidd just start going at it, trading chops. Kidd bites Eddie's forehead. He goes to whip him into the table, but Eddie reverses and hits an exploder to Kidd and sending him through the table in the corner. This is where all the War Dogs swarm Eddie, start beating him up, wrap him up in a chain. Homicide gets in, hits a cutter to Kidd. But then Finley stops as he's trying to hit them with a cop killer. The War Dogs are holding Eddie down as Finley and Kidd beat up Homicide, and then Kidd hits the pile driver to Homicide and pins him for the win. And then it continues because Eddie Kingston, they let go of Kingston, and he attacks Kidd. They're brawling. Everybody's brawling after the match. They have to be pulled apart by the security and Young Lions and everything. Eddie's trying to take a ladder and run up the aisle to try to hit somebody with it, but they won't let him. Eddie gets a mic, calls Kidd, "Hey, you twat, you goddamn little bit B word." Try not to swear as much. May 11th, no ropes, last man standing match. And I assume this is for the title. I don't know, but they didn't say for the title, but I'm going to assume the title is on the line in this. I have a feeling. And then Eddie and Kidd try to brawl some more. And this is where he takes the ladder and tries to attack with the ladder, running up the ramp with it, but too many people in between, so they stop. The Young Lion just takes it from him. It was great. I was just like, funny.
It was the calmest disarmament I've ever seen from Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, I agree with you. Again, great match, but it wasn't my jam. This is where I took a break and ate instead of taking notes while watching this match. I took notes afterwards and I just did highlights because I knew what happened, and I just ate my food while watching it. And I went, all right, this is chaos, fun chaos. Wasn't too gross outside of the forking spot. Nothing was gross. Maybe the barbed wire on the mouth, but that's about it. Is it?
Yeah, but it wasn't like with Jun Kasai and El Desperado and Moxley and Homicide before, where the barbed wire meant that there was flesh tearing and blood everywhere, because this was actually the one match I expected to see blood in, that I don't feel that we got a lot of legitimate blood. I feel like the only blood looking thing was TJP's mist. So yeah, couple funny things I wanted to add to this. I'll just go through the list of the notes I had here. There was one point at the beginning there where Eddie Kingston had that aluminum garbage can and he just started pounding his own head to the point where he started getting dizzy and delirious. And I was like, I was kind of stupid, wasn't it? TJP and Finley, when they finally locked up together, holy hell, did they beat the hell out of each other, and it was great to see. It was like, this was almost like a tamer version of that cage match between United Empire and Bullet Club. Surprisingly tamer version considering the people involved. There was one point where you had mentioned they had gone over the barricades, they were in the crowd. I don't know if you noticed, there was one point where Clark Connors almost got into a shoving match with a fan.
Right after he crotched Kingston, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You texted me that, and then I was like, so when I was watching back, I made sure to watch for that.
Yeah,
you noted that, so I was like, I'm not going to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I like to see with the heels, though, because Mr. Perry, that's what you do when you're a heel. You don't high five these idiots. You fucking get in their faces. Let's see here. Yeah, the surfboard. Okay, the surfboard spot was hilarious to me because it was just some great camera work. Because on top of having TJP on a skateboard surfing on Kenta's back in the ring, they suddenly pulled out to a wide shot. And the wide shot, you could see everybody who was on the outside of the ring from the hips down kind of thing. So as TJP is surfboarding on Kenta, enter Eddie Kingston stage right, randomly on the outside, with a full-on stop sign, and he finds Clark Connors and just bonk, and then it goes back to the close shot of
Well, no,
TJP back on
the
the
problem is
surfboard.
they cut to something, and then they cut back just after one of them yelled, "He double stomped the skateboard." They missed him actually stomping the
Yeah.
skateboard in the back. I'm like, what the?
But I thought it was hilarious because in comes Eddie Kingston, and I'm sorry, he's gassed as hell. Here he is, just lumbering in, bonk Clark Connors, and then exit stage left. I was in hysterics, seeing that one. Um, yeah, Kid with the spin on everyone was just kind of. This is a spot that I expect to see out of Kid, where an Extreme Rules or weapons are concerned. Um, TJP with the mist. Um, face wash, the forks, fuck the forks. Um, there was one point where Kingston got his hand on a kendo stick, starts going a little ham on poor David Finlay there. Luckily, he was still wearing a shirt at this point, but goddamn, it probably still hurt. He looked like a crazy kid with a pinata, just going ham all over Finlay. There was also the exploder that Kingston managed to hit on Kidd through the table, which was pretty cool. Um, I'm not gonna lie, I cackled a little bit though when I saw Bullet Club banging up on Homicide because I was like, they're setting up for the end of the match here, and they did. They sure did. I enjoyed the fighting after. This is again what I expect out of the heels and what I expect out of the War Dogs. And what I'm really liking is seeing someone who has as much attitude as is someone like Eddie Kingston to be able to fight back and bite back and bark back and incite these guys even more. It's like dangling raw meat in front of these dogs. It's firing them right up and giving us incredible matches. I'm very excited to see them go at it again because we just went through a year of United Empire versus Bullet Club. I'm excited that they're continuing something with Bullet Club in somebody else.
100%. And I think Kid, I have a feeling Kid gets the title in May, and you see him like this, like he's like, and I could see it. Maybe eventually he takes out Finley, and it's like I'm the leader now. If he's got a title and Finley doesn't, like, no.
You know what I hear when I hear that though is that typical movie trope of, oh, I'm ready. I could take it. I could do it. I can take it. You ain't ready. You can't take it. It's a syndrome thing. Back
Might
to the
maybe
Incredibles.
syndrome. I get you now.
So,
Again, we're going into it. NJPW World Television Championship match. It's now World Television Championship because it's being defended around the world now. Matt Riddle, the champion, ends the best and man who never should have lost this title, Zack Sabre Jr. Again, this is very much a technical and strike heavy match. Like, these guys are rolling a bunch. You got a former MMA fighter who is very technically adept in wrestling and jiu-jitsu in Matt Riddle, and Zack Sabre Jr., one of the best technical professional wrestlers in the world. Again, rolling around, trading cross arm breakers, heel hooks. Just they both get a heel hook on eventually. Sabre gets the first, and then both miss PK. Sabre gets a gut wrench suplex and rolls through into another. Pulls a flying cross arm bar into a disarmer. Riddle catches a kick, then slaps Sabre, dropping him. Riddle getting like the yes style kick. Sabre getting a hold of the feet, and he starts snapping the toes because Riddle doesn't wear boots. Like, dude, wear boots. You won't get your toes snapped. So they keep
I think I
rolling.
sent you a picture of that after where he was like pretty much interlocked fingers
Like
with his
twisting.
foot, and I was just like, "Bleh."
Yeah. Riddle gets a senton at one point, or gets a deadlift German, goes for it's a senton, but he misses the moonsault. Sabre gets the flying triangle and hits elbows to the head, but Riddle does that lift up into the power bomb, hits the final flash knee, but can only get 2. Again, they're trading all these crazy strikes and slaps and just trading hold. It's just absolutely incredible the way these guys are rolling together. PK by Sabre is caught into a half grab. Sabre ends up flipping people off because he doesn't want to grab the rope. Eventually, Riddle lets it go because he realizes he's not going to get it. Sabre gets that Pele to the arm, but then Riddle gets the deadlift German, hits a floating bro, but can only get 2. You got to come off the top of that floating bro, can only get 2. Riddle kicks and chops Sabre. Sabre striking back, catches the kick, and Riddle gets that leaping knee and then hits that ripcord knee strike. Goes for the bro stone, but Sabre reverses into the Euro clutch. I thought it was over here, but Riddle kicks out at 2. Sabre hits a kick. Riddle hits a jumping knee. Sabre reverses another bro stone event into a crucifix. And Zack Sabre Jr. He reverses the knee strike into the crucifix. And Zack Sabre Jr. is now your two-time NJPW World Television Champion. And I was so happy because TMDK is now dripping in silver and dinner trays. Or TV trays, whatever you want to call it.
All right, you call this title the TV tray, don't you?
I do. They're dripping in silver and TV trays. Let's go.
Hey, I mean, TV dinners. Can't complain about that. Let's go down the list here. Zack Sabre Jr.'s intro jacket. Super, super cool. It looked like a combo of the 2 jackets that he has with the orange body and the black sleeves. I really, really liked it. Really dig it. Something I noted about Riddle's entrance was suspiciously silent. I noted that like people were excited to see them, but they weren't like unhappy to see him either. There was a very distinct indifference with this crowd, with Riddle in particular.
I agree.
And I don't know if you got the same vibe I did, but and when I say he, I mean Riddle, it in fact impacted him quite a bit throughout the match. Because when he would do something where he would expect a pop from, like, say, a WWE crowd or maybe his Bloodsport crowd, he didn't get it. And sometimes he would actually get booed. And when you did see him or hear him get booed, you could see the look on his face like, come on, man. Like, what do you want me to do? Well, we want you to just keep wrestling. That's what we want you to do. Um, I don't know what it was with it though, because like I felt that he did a pretty solid job. Maybe it's just the reputation he has now that people just weren't particularly excited to see him. With myself, I mean, the bro thing is kind of old. It's kind of
Yeah,
feeling a little bit like
100%.
his arcade bro, you know? I love Randy Orton, but like Randy Orton's been the same old dude for like the last 10, 15 years. I feel like the bro thing has kind of been the same thing. It's kind of a little old. He needs an evolution and some shoes. Um, yeah. The triangle by Zack Sabre Jr. was really, really good. He always cinches those in super good, and they look so, so good. The German that Riddle did looked a little odd to me. Just looked a little off, like twisty. So there
Yeah.
was a twist somewhere that shouldn't have happened, and I couldn't tell if it was Riddle or Sabre who did it. It looked very odd.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, this is again where I noted that when Riddle gets booed by the crowd or doesn't get the reaction he wants, he starts to act a little different. I don't want to say he gets sloppy, but he almost kind of doesn't want to put as much into what he's doing, and it's obvious. It's like at that point, if you know you're that good, just keep being that good. Look who you're in the ring with. Arguably one of the best wrestlers, technical wrestling in the world right now. Put up or shut up. Um, Yeah, I was very happy with this win. Um, I'm a little on the fence about what happened on the post. Take us
Yeah,
into the post.
you're unhappy.
I'm a little on the fence
Oh, on the
because
fence.
yeah. Take us into why, and I'll let you know.
Okay, so Sabre gets on the mic, says, "What's up, Chicago mates? We're having a lovely time. My year has not been going as planned, but I got my baby back. I need industrial cleaner as I don't trust the last champion. He needs to clean this title." It's true.
That is very fair.
Usually I'd ask for a challenger, but I want to go hit the pub. I'll be back defending here soon. And then Cobb's music hits. And you could hear Sabre go, "Ah!" Because he's like, I just want to leave. Cobb makes his way up the ring. He says he should be next. Sabre says, "Not today. I'm tired." Sabre offers a handshake. They shake hands. Sabre tries to pull him in for a sack driver. And I'm like, dude, come on, really? And then so Cobb tries to go for Tour of the Islands. Sabre gets away, leaving his title in the ring, rolls out. Then he gets the mic, says, "Hawaiian Jeffrey, can I have my belt back? I'll give you a match another time. Your hair looks lovely. Look, what conditioner do you use?" And then Cobb hands the belt back to Sabre, and Sabre's like, "Thank you," and just tosses the mic and runs away.
At
Like that
least he was
cock,
a gentleman about it, right?
he's a gentleman, but he's a cocky little shit about it, and I love it. I love that he
Mhm.
calls him Hawaiian Jeffrey.
It's I'm just I feel like there's an inside joke from that somewhere along the way from their, um, interactions together. I just I've been having so much stuff happen, I just can't remember it or recall it right now. So I'm excited to see this again, but I'm also on the fence about it because we have seen it a couple times for this title specifically, and we've seen Mr. Cobb come up short. All those times where Mr. Zack Sabre Jr. has been able to retain. Um, that being said, though, I feel that enough time has happened in between the last title defense that Zack Sabre Jr. did against Cobb that I think we can probably expect to see something a little different from these two because they've also been, kind of doing their own things with other people in the meantime. Cobb with Bullet Club and TMDK kind of with everybody in the last little bit. Um, but yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to see if Cobb can dethrone him for the second time or if we will see a third retention from Mr. Zack Sabre Jr.
I I I feel I don't want it to just jump to Cobb right away. So it's gonna suck to have like 'cause again, there's the draw, Sabre wins, and then Sabre won on the rematch for the title, and then Sabre lost to Cobb in the G1. So this is kind of the rubber match, really, in this because they each have a win over each other plus the draw. So this is the rubber match in the end. Yeah. So I look forward to seeing it very much so. But again, I'll give all props to Matt Riddle in this match, though. He stepped up in that technical department to really match with Sabre, and they did a great job and told a great story. Not to what Brian Danielson did, not even close, but like he stepped up a lot more than a lot of other guys do in that technical wrestling department for sure.
100%, 100%. He's not my favorite technical wrestler, but
No,
he stepped up to the best.
but he could match. He matched well and did a good
Mhm,
job while using his striking ability and everything. It turned into a really, really good match that I had a
mhm,
great time watching.
mhm.
Semi main event of the evening. This is the match. I'll admit I was kind of in and out on this match. I'll admit that. Not that I don't like either man. I was just kind of distracted with some other stuff while watching this, and I was taking notes, but I was distracted. So I got most of the notes though. Tomohiro Ishii, Nick Nemeth not for the global championship. I don't understand why. Nemeth out wearing a pink hoodie. I love the pink hoodie. I like it. Oh,
It's trendy. It's
yeah.
trendy.
They're working early for position. They wrestle around. Nemeth actually gets Ishii down. He wrestles him down and gets a 2 count. Ishii going in on hard on the chops to the meth. Nemeth gets a neck breaker at one point, repeated elbows and the jumping elbow. Ishii gets Nemeth up top, hits the superplex. Ishii tries a power bomb, but Nemeth slips down, gets a sleeper, but Ishii gets one of his own. but Nemeth then picks him up into an Olympic slam. Ishii stops a DDT. Nemeth fights and gets a beautiful looking pendulum DDT. Again, that's a state. Again, I've been watching that dude do that pendulum DDT for years. I think Knight does it the best out of anybody that does a pendulum DDT right now. That up into the air and then swing, where you go up into the air and you swing down DDT. That Kevin Knight does, and that you
Oh, Kevin Knight. I was like, what Knight? There's a few
Ke-
Knights on this.
Kevin Knight, and then Miyo Masaki does it too. Those pendulum DDTs, and then Mess is it's classic for me because I've been watching him do that DDT for well over a couple decades now. So again, he's so good at it. Nemeth, Ishii catches Nemeth, gets the power bomb for 2. Nemeth gets a headbutt and a famouser for 2. Again, I'm jumping through a bunch of stuff. Nemeth tries the attack, but is going for danger zone. He gets tossed off, but he ends up hitting a super kick for 2. Nemeth gets a suplex, but Ishii hits the Ishii zone, which is he jumps up and hits a goddamn zigzag. I was like, oh my god, he can actually jump. I didn't know Ishii could jump. That's the thing. That's what surprised me more than anything. The fact that Ishii can jump.
Didn't know Ishii could jump.
I've never seen him. You never see this guy jump ever.
He does the step up Enziguri.
It's not really a jump.
He's hippity hopping.
Yeah, but again, it's not the same because he just jumped straight up in the air into the zigzag. And I was just like, oh.
You know what I think the problem is that Mr. Nemeth is like Tigger. He's got springs in his step. Everything that he does, he hops or jumps into it. So when someone else is doing it, it's kind of like, whoa.
But when you
Where
see
did that come
Ishii
from?
it's when you see Ishii try to emulate that. I'm not used to it, and I was just like, oh my god, he can jump. Yeah. And then he hits falls with a big lariat, but only gets 1. Then Matt hits the hit. I can't remember what he hit here. I kind of missed it. Gets a 1 count. They trade headbutts. Ishii gets the leaping headbutt for 2. I guess that's it. I'm used to his little jump just being and just like launching himself into people more than anything. You know what I mean? I'm not used to an actual jump. Nemeth and Ishii reversing each other. Nemeth hits a super kick, hits danger zone, and pins Ishii. And he moves on to face the El Presidente at Dontaku.
Yeah. Yeah. I love Tanahashi, but man, he started to annoy me since becoming El Presidente. I think it's because you know how I feel about people being in ownership positions, also wrestling. It looks sus. It overwhelmingly tends to be sus. And like suspiciously, championships keep ending up on them. Wonder how that happens. I also don't understand why this was not for the global title. I was under the impression that maybe the rules have changed, but I thought that titles in NJPW did need to be defended within a 30-day time period. Guess that went out the window at COVID, though, because we saw Moxley kidnap that US title belt and completely forget about it for a little while. So,
well, remember, Kenta was defending his US title shot briefcase forever.
And a goddamn day. And then when he had the opportunity to bring it back, Mr. Khan said, no. Anyway, that's another discussion for another time. As I'd mentioned earlier, I don't have a whole lot to add to this one because I was also a little distracted by this one. But as I'd mentioned, Nick Nemeth, he's really got springs in his feet. He's always hopping or jumping into his moves, which I think adds a little element of excitement to him, which is why he's so popular. Also kind of helps that he's good looking and good at his job. His in-ring psychology is so good. The facial expressions that he has are so good because they're not over the top, but they're not underplaying as well. They're just the right amount of emotion for the moment that is happening. I love seeing Ishii fight though. And I really do appreciate that he has really become the gatekeeper of NJPW for the power wrestlers in particular, the strong wrestlers who like to yeet people around, people like David Finlay, people like Nick Nemeth, people like Jay White when Jay White was there. You know, Ishii really was Kenta when Kenta turned. Even he was a gatekeeper for that. So I appreciate how they always put Ishii in these positions of power, but also in these positions of major storytelling happening because they know, despite having that stone-faced killer kind of like vibe to him, Ishii is really the most adaptable wrestler, I would say, secondary to the Great Khan in NJPW. And I suspect that when Ishii does start to kind of work his way out the door, that Great Khan will take his place as the gatekeeper of the power guys in NJPW. I love this match when I wasn't distracted.
Yeah,
It did have some moments where it got a little slow and I just went, ooh, something shiny.
yeah. I was the same. I was the same way. Again, I was getting distracted with other things. So yeah.
Mhm.
Didn't help. I was watching on my laptop while somebody else was watching stuff that I was slightly interested in on TV. So that's what messed me up. I had my headphones on, like over, so I couldn't hear anything. But he kept looking at the TV. But I'd see actors I know on their show, and it
I was gonna
distracts
say,
me.
is it below deck and people are getting yelled at again?
No, 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 no. I
So
watched
that's
that.
always funny.
I actually focus when I watch that show. I love that show. But yeah, so we're gonna move on. Main event of the evening. I'm not going through this whole thing because there was a lot to it, and again, it was a very much a slower paced match. Not again, not against it, but again, John Moxley challenging Naito for the title. The match was good. It just for me by this point in the show, I'd already kind of like blowed my load between the tag titles, the women's title, the women's tag, and the TV title matches. And the Riot match just kind of exhausted my brain. So yes, I had to say it that way. So again, I'm wrong. I was sitting there enjoying the match, but I was already like, all right, this is just a post match cuddle. I get the post session cuddle is what this was.
Oh,
Uh,
I'm dying over here. Holy shit.
she literally had to mute herself because she started coughing while laughing at my statement. It's what I felt. Again, Naito putting the pants, clipping the pants back up during his like when he's taking his gear off, and you see Mox getting like angrier and angrier because he just wants this match to go. Naito antagonizing Mox early, uh, locking up, then letting go and say tranquilo, and Mox flipping him off. He gets Mox to the floor, does the fake out dive into the tranquilo pose. They end up brawling on the floor. Naito ends up running. They're in the crowd. He runs Mox into the barricade. Then he just sits on a chair that I think was like a security guy's chair. And then Mox just boots him boots him in the face, booting him out of the chair, running him into the post, and then he back in the ring. He's like stomping on his head, and then hits a pile driver for two. Again, back and forth. Naito gets a figure four. Mox gets spits in Naito's face, and he gets a clover leaf. Then beautiful transition into a regal stretch out of the clover leaf. I was really impressed by that. I'm like, this guy, like, as much as he's like a brawler and stuff, he's got some goddamn wrestling skill. Like he has those transitions down so well. But yeah, Naito gets the ropes again. Good, a lot of back and forth. Again, it's those slower cons. Naito gets a Greco-Roman throat hold at one point, as Chris Charlton called it. Because like Walker says he's choking him, he's like, no, it's a Greco-Roman throat hold. That's what you would call it. And he's just playing into
If
that.
Walker was around with Tai Chi a little bit more, he would know that.
He would just he's busy. Um, yeah. Mox at one. They're good, a lot of good back and forth. Naito gets a cravat. Good back and forth. Really good brawling throughout too. Mox mocks the tranquilo pose at one point like a douche. Um, Yeah, again, they're fighting on the floor. He goes for a GTS. I think that's the third or fourth time. That's the third time on the show we're gonna go for a GTS, or fourth time, because Windsor won with it. Perry tried it. Kenta hit it, and then Moxley tries it. So everybody's playing to the crowd. Naito hits a neck breaker onto the apron. Oh, sorry. Naito hits him with a steel chair as he's going for a dive. And this is ends up opening up Mox. Again, I didn't get mad at the because it's not like they went for blood right at the beginning of the match. He was bleeding. It was only in this last few minutes of the match that he was bleeding, and it was a walloping chair shot as he's going for a dive, and he took it right to the head. I didn't get mad at Moxley blood here because he worked a majority of the match before he bled, so I'll give him the blood here.
I will not. There's no reason for it.
Oh, we
it
didn't.
makes sense. Yes, I know chairman face there. That's the reason. But he's been doing so well up until this point. You don't have to bleed. This match proved it. You could have an incredible freaking match without bleeding. I understand there was a point A, point B that made the blood happen, but we could have maybe removed it. It wasn't necessary to the overall feel of the show, because the feel of the show was great.
So in the ring, Naito gets a tornado DDT, lines up, but he gets lariated as he's going for running Destino. Trading strikes. Mox spits at Naito. Naito not tranquilo anymore. Spits in Mox's face. Again, playing off that Suji and Naito spitting at each other too. Mox gets a sleeper, gets run into the corner. But then Mox gets him down, hits a stomp to Naito, shouting out Seth Rollins there, but only gets 2. Mox gets a sleeper on the mat. Naito gets up, but Mox has the sleeper, but Naito slips out and gets a 2. I literally wrote and GTS 2, so I was like, wait, no, it just gets. It's supposed to be gets. I just hit a T instead of an E, like, because I'm weird like that. Naito hits like the back elbows. Mox reverses Destino into an ace crusher, hits Death Rider, and I'm like, no. But Naito kicks out at 2.999 according to Veda Scott. She timed it. It was a 2.999. So I'll trust her. Mox lines up Death Rider, but Naito slips out, hits the running Destino, but only gets 2. He goes for another Destino, but Mox slips out, hits Death Rider again, but this is where Naito kicks out that 2.999 again. Mox hits a lariat, only gets 1. Picks him up. Death Rider. Jon Moxley is now the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Oh, there was boos. Like, there was a good chunk of cheers and Moxley chants, but I heard boos on this.
Because we know what's happening. Mr. Khan has done his deeds, and now Moxley has now kidnapped his second NJPW title. We have opinions about this. Because as much as this match impressed me, this wasn't a title exchange level match for me.
It was good. It was a good match. I thought it was good. It was a really good match, but yeah.
But this wasn't a title exchange worthy match by any means. The match that Naito and Suji had. That was a title exchange match. This was not. And then, I don't have a whole ton to add to this match, except for I just didn't like the blood part. Everything else was great. It was such a good match. But my concern going into this is we now have Jon Moxley holding the most major title in New Japan. My question, where is he going to be until Wrestling Dontaku? Because you told me earlier he is going to be at Wrestling Dontaku. How long away is that? Month?
2.5 weeks.
Oh, okay. So that's not too bad. I thought it was a month.
No,
but even still.
As of that show, it was literally 3 weeks from When he won the title, it's 3 or he doesn't defend till the 4th, but he will be on the 3rd show. But yeah,
If he does not lose that title at that show, I have demands as a wrestling fan in Japan. If you're going to take our champion, our major champion, and not even give him to us, sorry, for that 2-week period going up into that championship match, which Kazuchika Okada of the Kazuchika kind, in his title reign, that 2-year title reign, he did not miss a fucking show. He was there. He was wrestling those multi-people tag matches, but he was there. Those crowds got their champion. Might not have been in the main event, because during the Super Juniors are the main event, but he was there. You know what I'm saying? So if he's not going to lose this title at Dontaku, when does Joe arrive? Because if you're going to take our champion, we want yours. So this is the trade-off. If you get our champion, we want Joe. And you know what? I could see Joe doing frickin' phenomenal over there. Could you imagine starting off with the gatekeeper, Tomohiro Ishii versus Samoa Joe? Holy hell and crap. But then test the level, the gusto, if you will, of Bolton Oleg versus Samoa Joe. Could be a great match. I know, look, Astrid hates this word. There's a plethora of people that Joe could have great matches with.
plethora.
But we need this to happen. It can't keep being a one-sided deal where AEW keeps getting our stuff. You got Kyle Fletcher and Aussie Open. You got Will Ospreay. You got all of these freaking people. You got Okada of the Kazuchika kind now. We get it. You are the new WWE where you are consolidating people and doing barely anything with them. I get it. That's what you want to do. But don't take our most prestigious title from us and then leave us with nothing. Like this is not okay.
Yeah, because I'm at least it's not at least he's doing Dontaku. I'll give him that. But yeah, if he was even if he wasn't doing the entire tour, like be there for some of the dates of the tour. Like, come on, dude. Like, I'm really hoping that he's sticking around because he's there for the 3rd and 4th for Dontaku. I'm really hoping he's sticking around and getting an all together match because again, the champion should be part of that.
Well, I mean, if he loses the title, it won't matter.
He's not losing it.
So
We all know he's not losing till Forbidden Door. Come on. They're lining it up
and
for
who's
John
he?
Moxley to have the IWGP title going into facing a Japanese
Who?
wrestler on American soil. I don't know, but it's going to be somebody. Or we're getting John Moxley till Wrestle Kingdom. We don't know. And you're going to get angry all year long.
We do not want a whole year of Melball being angry.
Well,
Melball doesn't want that. I want to be. This is the one thing that's supposed to make me happy. God damn it.
Melball and Happy don't equate.
Not with John Moxley as my champion. Not my
Yeah.
champion. No, nay, nay. Man, that is 2 major titles now that have been kidnapped from NJPW. Because when was the last time the global title was defended?
Yeah, it hasn't been since Meth won it. Yeah. Oh no, I agree. I don't disagree with you. I understand why New Japan is doing it. Putting it on Mox means you get more headlines about your company and your title in North America because it's a big North American. So I understand. Like, I don't like it. I'm not happy with it.
It seems like a poor business opportunity is missed here because
I
it's
agree.
like, yeah, you could put the belt on Moxley. Like, I do get it, just like you do. He's over here. I don't understand why, but he's so over here. That being said, though, gatekeep a little bit, you guys. Like, put on a limitation. Like, you want Moxley to have title? Cool. We'll put the title on him, but he's
Give
got
us
to
Jay White.
wrestle.
You got to give us Jay White for like 3 months.
No, you need to fix your own problem. We gave you him in the prime of his career. You're the one who broke him, Mr. Khan. You fix him. No, we want, if he is the champion, not only is he defending at Dontaku, he is defending every month. Every month. I don't care if it's a major show or not. He's defending every month. And I don't care if it's in Japan or if it's in the US. He's defending every month because I want a fighting champion.
Well, and it looks like he will be defending every month because it looks like May he's going to defend at Dontaku. He'll be defending at.
Oh yeah, Forbidden Doors in June, isn't it?
Yeah, he'll have Dontaku. He'll have the Resurgence show a week later. He'll have Dominion on the 9th, and then Forbidden Door on the 20 something. I remember it's the end of the
So
it's at
just
the end of
make
June.
shows. He's not going to show up for any house shows in between. That's
I
nice.
don't. Well, again, and again, I don't care when Best of Super Junior is on because I don't watch the undercard anyways. So I could give a less if
I do.
undercard. I don't. Again, I just watched.
It's the principle of the matter, though, man. As I've mentioned, Okada of the Kazuchika kind, he worked all of the Super Juniors.
Yeah, but
Anything
Naito
that he
didn't.
wasn't involved. Yeah, because Naito's knees are fucked.
But again, I don't hold everybody to that same standard. I didn't even care if I didn't watch Okada's undercard matches when I was watching Best of the Super Juniors when he was champion because I don't give a shit. I don't care. I just want to see the stuff that matters on the tours, and I don't give a crap about the when I'm watching a Best of Super Junior tour. I don't care about the undercard. I just want to see Best of the Super Juniors. That's what I'm there for. I don't care. Like it doesn't bother me that our champion's going to be more in America than in Japan. Yes, but we'll get him at Dontaku. We're going to get him at Resurgence. We're going to get him at Dominion, and we're going to get him at Forbidden Door. So I'm not as peeved at this as you are. That's for sure. I'm annoyed, but I'm not mad like you are. I'll 100% say that.
First of all, I'm not mad. If I was mad, you would know about it. Secondly, you're one side of the coin. You don't watch the undercard matches, and that's totally cool. I do. I like watching the undercards because they tell the one thing that I really love in professional wrestling, which is story. The Super Juniors don't always give you a story, they just give you a freaking match. And that's great because we've seen some incredible matches come out of there. But what I really love about professional wrestling is the stories. And the stories come out of those undercards. Other rivalries and feuds come out of those undercards, and other potential championship opportunities or number one contenderships do come out of those undercards. So for me, it is a big value. But also on top of that, we're not in the crowd. We're not in the live crowd. So I'm speaking also for the people who are in attendance, who want to go there and paid to see this show, paid to see champions. I even say it here when I don't see a champion show up for the local shows, there's other local shows happening. Like we can't have Bobby Sharp at every RCW show. He's a freaking 12, I think he's got 10 or 12 belts now all across Western Canada. That makes sense. John Moxley has one. Like you got one job right now, and that's be the IWGP champion. Who is the IWGP champion the champion for? It's not AEW.
Again,
It's NJPW.
You're not going to convince me on this because I'm just like we're getting him at Dontaku. I'm happy. You're never going to convince me of it because I'm not. Don't have the
I'm
feeling.
not trying to. I don't need to convince you. I'm just sharing my opinion on it.
Yeah. Well, we're at almost 2 hours, so it's time to go home. You can find me on the X at That Canada Guy, TikTok, Instagram, and Threads at That Canada Dude. You can find me on Facebook at Andre and Melball Wrestling Talk, and on YouTube at youtube.com/ at Andre and Melball Wrestling Talk right here, or on Backbreaker Radio, wherever you're listening to us right now. If you are listening to us, you might be listening to us. If you want to hear us in audio form, if you want to, SundayNightsMainEvent.com, hit their RSS feed so you can hear us in audio form if you want to hear us that way. And you can also go to patreon.com/SNME Radio, where you can support them for $4 American per month. Helps keep the bills on and keeps the lights on and keeps everything going over at SNME. Great partner, and love having them as a partners of ours. And also they have merchandise at choptees.com if you're interested in merchandise from them. You can also check out our boy Mike the Ref, simulcast all our great stuff, Backbreaker Video, youtube.com/@Backbreaker Video for what? What? You gave me a weird look. I'm so confused now.
So am I. You're doing things all out of order.
Well, me, then SNME. Oh, okay, whatever. I'll go to Mike first, and then I'll go to them. I jumped. I'm sorry. YouTube.com/@Backbreaker Video, where you can see all this great wrestling content. Is AEW watch-alongs, me and Mel. Asher Pizarro's stuff gets simulcasted over there. Lots of great stuff over on Backbreaker Video. If you want to see Mike live, go to twitch.tv/Mike the Ref, where he does AEW watch-alongs every Wednesday and Saturday. And he's got a Dynasty watch-along this coming Sunday. I will not be part of it. I was supposed to be, but I'm not. I've pulled out of that for other reasons with stuff. So check that out, twitch.tv/Mike the Ref. And then a lot of great gaming content every other day of the week. If you want to see replays of the gaming content, go to youtube.com/@Backbreaker_gaming, where you can find him, Mr. PJC, Mr. Rick Jules, right there on my wall, still stuck up there, and their freaking guest, Kayla J.
Kayla J. Kayla J. Kayla J. Kayla J.
And then you can also find me on twitch.tv/Our Local Establishment, where you can find me doing the Marvel Talk. Should be next Wednesday. I think we're coming back with our review of Iron Man 3, I think, is the first movie. Yeah, Iron Man 3, because it's the first movie in Phase 2. So we'll be back with that, because we finished off Phase 1 with Avengers there a few weeks back. So we're coming to that MCU Rebound. Check that out. Should be this coming Wednesday on OLE. And then, Melball, where can they find you?
If you're wanting to follow on Melball, you can follow her on the X thing at Collins Melball. You can follow her on everything else, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Mastodon, and Blue Sky at Melball Collins. You can also find her on Our Local Establishment's programming, Japanese Wrestling Update, with this guy over here every Friday at 8 p.m. Mountain Time, unless it's not. I believe this Friday, though, we are going to be on live at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. We got a lot of discussions we need to have, companies being formed, partnerships being made, partnerships being broken, all that and more. Japanese Wrestling Update. You can also catch me on Asher Pizarro's YouTube channel, where we do our show, Ladies Wrestling Showcase. We have been slacking because we are busy, and then I lost my voice, and then WrestleMania, it's just been chaotic. So we will be having another episode coming out very, very shortly. So stay tuned to our socials to see when that is coming out. If you're wanting to watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, we will leave a link in the description box below. It is njpwworld.com. It is 999 yen, or approximately 10 Canadian. Shout out Sean Spears. Congratulations for being back on NXT. It's more like 750, according to my bank account. But still a great price to watch some amazing professional wrestling. Andre, my trusted friend and colleague, do you have anything else to say to the beautiful people?
Just thank you all so much for tuning in here. We'll be back in the next couple days with our review of Wrestling World live from Taiwan. We'll have that show coming out to you in the next couple days here. We'll probably end up record on Saturday, drop that stuff on Sunday morning. So check that out, please. And thank you very, very much. Actually, this Sunday, you can actually see me on OLE as I'm doing the MLW watch along with our boy Bobby Munson. Because I do have, I will be available in the morning for that. Just my Dynasty availability is no longer there. So check me out, OLE, Sunday morning with Bobby Munson, watching the MLW YouTube card. So we're going to watch that, because it's happening on Friday, I think, or Saturday or something, but he can't watch it live. So we're going to watch it together on Sunday. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Andre, my trusted friend and colleague, do you have anything else to say to the beautiful people?
Now I'll say it. Please, if you're listening on SNME Radio, please hit that subscribe button. Give us a 5-star review. Really appreciate it. And support on patreon.com/SNME Radio. And if you're watching on the YouTubes, there's Andre Melball Wrestling Talk, whether it's a backbreaker video, we really do appreciate it. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below. Please share us out to all your friends, family, and all the spooky ooky-ish that exists in our universe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can be alerted every time we drop a new video.
Ding dong.
No. Not answering it this late at night. No.
Speaking of spooky ooky-ish. And that being said, I am your mama. Over there is Andre. We will see you next time. Adios.